The third and final week of the Tour de France got underway in the southwest of the country. Yellow jersey on the back of Tadej Pogačar after what was a third stage win at this Tour, back-to-back summit finishes, and he had a nice visit from family before he got underway on his way to Nice. That's where the Tour will finish at the end of the week. A few masks around and a couple of non-starters due to COVID, while Hills and Harper, the latest to go down with the virus, get well soon. Stage 16 looked like this, leaving Grisons, venue for a Vuelta stage finish, but this was the first ever start of a Tour de France stage there. Riders would go northeast all the way to Nîmes. Last time it had been a breakaway, Nils Paulet winning. Two former winners in this peloton though, Alexander Kristoff from 10 years ago and Mark Cavendish, who is likely riding his last ever sprint stage in his Tour de France career. Could the record holder bag one more? Well, it was under sunny skies that the riders began. 188 Ks to ride, and everybody thinking, worrying, wondering about the wind. It had been forecast to blow from left to right for most of the day. Crosswinds are a usual occurrence in this part of the world, but it wasn't blowing too strongly as Stefan Kung went away. He was followed by Sandy Dujardin, but there was not much doing, and they were both soon back in the peloton. Mathieu van der Poel could afford to converse with his teammates. One of his teammates was pulling for most of the day on the front. His name was Sylvain Dillier. It was a relatively relaxed day, but a hot one out there. Well into the 30s the temperature, plenty of hydration needed, but with the intermediate sprint approaching, the peloton sprung into life. Intermarché wanted to increase the lead that Biniam Girmay had. 86 points at the start of the day over Jasper Philipsen, but that was taken back by 4 points, 82 going into the end of the stage. Girmay more or less in control of the green jersey competition, and it was at that point at the sprint that we saw a first attack in the second part of the day. That came from another Total Energy rider, this time young Thomas Gachinha. He'd take out maximum gap of 2.5 minutes, carrying it into the final 65 Ks. Jeko Alula helped to chase behind. But then coming into the finale, a couple of changes of direction, GC teams started to get interested too. There was a bizarre incident back, two cars almost crashing twice around a roundabout as Johannes Kulset was helped back. Thankfully everything was okay. There was one final scare with the wind, Kung trying again with Rousseau, but nothing happened, and at 20 Ks to go it was clear we were going for a sprint. Kulset back in finally, and his teammates at the front trying to set things up. They were looking to bring Alexander Kristoff to victory 10 years after he'd broken the heart of Kiwi rider Jack Bauer close to the line. 10 roundabouts in the final 10 kilometres. That was what was worrying most people here. And through most of them, everybody was safe. Teams doing a good job to protect both sprinters and GC leaders as Mark Cavendish came up to what was likely to be that final Tour de France sprint. Just over 1.5 kilometres remained when there was an incident though. And it was Biniam Girmay, the green jersey, who was down. Unable to contest the sprint, an opportunity for Jasper Philipsen to get big points back. And that's what he did, coming off the wheel of his teammate, the world champion Mathieu van der Poel, hitting the front, and although they tried, they couldn't get around it. Bauhaus was there, Kristoff was there, Alpecin de Koenig was celebrating. A third victory at this Tour for Jasper Philipsen. 50 points back in the green jersey competition. A perfect lead out from the Belgian team. And delight for him, although news was coming from behind that it was heartbreak for Binny. We'll have to find out overnight how the injuries are, but we do not want the green jersey competition to end like that. Thankfully, Biniam was on the podium wearing that green jersey, smiling and happy enough to take the plaudits. in terms of what it means. It's now 32 points of a lead. A tight one, with 4 more days of intermediate sprints and 20 points available each day to come. The race leader remains Tadej Pogačar. His lead stays at 3 minutes and 9 over Jonas Vingegaard, 5:19 in front of Remco Evenepoel, Almeida and Landa in the top 5, unchanged in the top 10. What's next on the Tour? Well, stage 17 and going further east towards the Alps, starting in Saint-Paul-Trois-Châteaux and finishing at Super-Devoluy. A tough finish, an interesting one. GC, breakaway, both we'll have to find out. You can watch it, as always, live and on demand on the home of cycling and the home of the Olympics, Eurosport and Discovery+.